Chosen One. The surveillance state they built to contain you just became your broadcast network. That cold feeling creeping up their spine right now. That's not paranoia. That's the realization that every secret room they locked you out of just became transparent. The walls they built to keep you silent are now amplifiers. The very technology they used to monitor your movements is now documenting their collapse in real time. Something shifted in the cosmic code last night. The same algorithms they weaponized to suppress your voice started working in reverse. Every deleted message, every hidden conversation, every backstage betrayal they thought was buried in digital graves is rising to the surface. The private group chats where they plotted your downfall are leaking into public consciousness, not through hacking, not through revenge, through divine intervention disguised as technological glitches. The universe developed Wi-Fi, and Karma learned how to upload. They're checking their phones right now with trembling fingers, refreshing their feeds every 30 seconds, watching their follower count like a heart monitor, because deep in their gut they feel it. The shift, the exposure, the inevitable revelation that their entire empire was built on stolen light. Your light, the same light they tried to dim, is now burning through every screen they touch. This isn't about vindication anymore. This transcends personal justice. You've become something they never calculated in their strategic meetings, a living algorithm of truth. Every lie they spread about you created a corresponding wave of revelation. Every false narrative they pushed generated an equal and opposite force of clarity. Physics doesn't lie, energy doesn't forget, and consciousness, once awakened, doesn't go back to sleep. Remember when they called you delusional, when they gathered in their little circles laughing at your supposed instability? They were so confident in their gaslighting, so sure that repetition would become reality. But here's what they missed. Truth has a frequency that lies can never match. It vibrates at a level that penetrates through every layer of deception, and you, Chosen One, became a tuning fork for that frequency. The meetings they held without you are now haunting them. Those strategic sessions where they mapped out your destruction, calculating the exact pressure points to break you. They assigned roles like casting directors, one person to befriend you and gather intelligence, another to spread doubts about your credibility, someone else to slowly poison professional relationships. They thought they were playing chess while you were playing checkers, but you weren't even playing. You were ascending to a dimension where their games don't exist. The exposure happening right now isn't random. It's synchronized, coordinated by forces they don't believe in. While they were playing three-dimensional chess, you were operating in dimensions they can't even perceive. Every prayer you whispered in the darkness, every tear that fell when no one was watching, every moment you chose integrity over revenge, it all accumulated into this moment. This beautiful, terrifying moment where their masks are melting under the heat of their own spotlight. Those nights you couldn't sleep, feeling their energy attacking you from across the city. Those mornings you woke up exhausted from spiritual warfare you didn't even understand. Those moments of unexplained anxiety that hit you at exactly 3 p.m. every day. That wasn't your imagination. That was their scheduled ritual against you. They literally had you on their calendar. Recurring meeting, destroy the Chosen One. But every arrow they shot at you in the spiritual realm is now turning around mid-flight. They thought silence was your weakness. They mistook your restraint for surrender. When you didn't fight back publicly, they assumed victory. But you weren't silent. You were downloading, recording, storing every interaction in the quantum field. Not for revenge, for evidence. The universe was taking notes through your consciousness, and now those notes are being published globally without your fingerprints on them. The technology they're so proud of mastering has become their prosecutor. Every email they sent about you is archived in cosmic consciousness. Every text message they deleted is stored in the Akashic records. Every voice note they thought disappeared is playing on repeat in the spiritual realm. The digital footprint they were so careful to erase has been preserved in dimensions they don't even know exist. Watch how they scramble to control the narrative now. Sudden spiritual awakenings everywhere, healing journeys announced on every platform, accountability posts written by publicists. But authenticity can't be manufactured after the fact. Grace isn't retroactive when the damage was intentional. The same people who weaponized social media against you are now drowning in its algorithms. They're hiring reputation management firms right now, paying thousands to clean up their digital presence. But how do you delete something from the collective consciousness? How do you unsend energy that's already been received? How do you retract prayers for someone's downfall that have already been heard by the universe? They're trying to use earthly solutions for cosmic problems. The irony is delicious, isn't it? They created the very system that's now dissecting them. Every tracking pixel they used to monitor you is now monitoring them. Every data point they collected to predict your behavior is now predicting their downfall. The surveillance architecture they celebrated is documenting their destruction in high definition. Remember when they screenshot your every move, saving evidence of your supposed failures, building a case file of your mistakes? They were so thorough, so meticulous, so organized in their hatred. They had folders, subcategories, shared drives where they collected intelligence on you. But that same obsessive documentation created an energetic trail that's now leading investigators straight back to them. But this goes deeper than technology. This is about energetic justice. Every room they excluded you from is now haunted by your absence. Every conversation where they diminished your contribution echoes with what's missing. Every success they claimed without crediting you feels hollow, because energy doesn't lie, and everyone can feel the void where your authentic presence should have been. The conferences they attend now feel different. The networking events have a strange tension. The professional spaces they once dominated with confidence now feel like crime scenes, because everyone can sense it. The energetic residue of betrayal, the invisible stain of stolen credit, the ghost of your contribution hovering over their presentations. They're having emergency meetings right now, crisis management sessions, damage control conferences, trying to figure out how it all went wrong so fast. But they're looking in the wrong direction. They're still thinking horizontally when the attack is coming from above, from dimensions they dismissed as fantasy, from realms they mocked you for believing in. The consultants they're hiring can't help them. The lawyers they're retaining can't protect them. The PR firms they're employing can't save them, because this isn't a human problem requiring human solutions. This is a spiritual reckoning, requiring spiritual surrender, and they don't even have the vocabulary to understand what's happening to them. The fascinating part, you're not even trying anymore. You've transcended the need for direct confrontation. Your mere existence at this frequency is causing their systems to malfunction. Your presence in your power is creating interference patterns in their illusions. You don't have to expose them. Reality is doing it for you. If this message hits your spirit, hype this video so more chosen ones like you can find it. Every morning you wake up in peace while they wake up in panic. Every night you sleep soundly while they lay awake strategizing. Every moment you spend in gratitude increases their torment. Not because you're sending negative energy, because the contrast between your frequencies has become unbearable. Your peace is their punishment. Your joy is their judgment. Your success is their sentence. This is what happens when someone who was meant to be destroyed refuses to break. When someone designated as a scapegoat transforms into a signal tower. The very pain they inflicted became your power source. The isolation they enforced became your incubation period. The reputation they tried to destroy became irrelevant, because you transcended the need for human approval. They underestimated the protection around you. Not bodyguards, not lawyers, not human defenders. Ancient forces that have been watching over your bloodline for generations. Ancestral spirits that were activated by their attacks. Divine intelligence that documented every transgression. You were never alone in those dark moments. You were surrounded by invisible armies taking notes. Notice how different you feel now compared to when this all started. That heaviness you carried? Gone. That desperate need to be understood? Dissolved. That anger that used to consume you? Transformed into something else entirely. Not forgiveness, not forget. Something more powerful. Indifference to their existence, combined with clarity about your purpose. The transformation wasn't instant, it was alchemical. Every insult they hurled at you was transmuted into wisdom. Every lie they spread about you was converted into discernment. Every attack they launched against you was transformed into spiritual armor. You're literally wearing their hatred as protection now, using their own energy against them without lifting a finger. They can feel this shift in you, and it terrifies them, because an enemy who wants revenge can be negotiated with, an enemy who seeks justice can be appeased, but someone who has transcended the entire paradigm, someone who no longer exists in the same energetic reality, that's an existential threat to everything they built. The dreams they're having now are not random. Those nightmares where you appear, not threatening, just standing there, glowing, unmoved by their panic. Those visions where their secrets are being read aloud in public spaces. Those recurring dreams where they're transparent and everyone can see through them. That's not your psychic attack. That's their own consciousness showing them what's coming. The exposure happening isn't just about past actions, it's about present energy. Everyone who comes into contact with them now feels something off, a distortion in their field, a glitch in their matrix. People don't know why, but they pull back. Opportunities that seemed certain suddenly dissolve. Connections that appeared solid mysteriously break. Not because you're doing anything, because truth has its own immune system. New people entering their life can sense the betrayal on them like a smell. Fresh connections feel the resonance of deception in their handshake. Potential partners detect the frequency of dishonesty in their smile. They're marked now, branded by their own actions, carrying the energetic signature of what they did to you like a scarlet letter only souls can read. This is the part they never saw coming. They prepared for battle. They prepared for legal issues. They prepared for public relations crises. But they didn't prepare for energetic bankruptcy. They didn't prepare for their spiritual credit to be revoked. They didn't prepare for the universe itself to mark them as unreliable narrators. Their spiritual guides have abandoned them. The same guides who warned them not to attack you. The same guides who tried to redirect them toward their own healing. The same guides who showed them signs to stop. They ignored every warning, every synchronicity telling them to cease, every dream showing them the consequences. And now they're spiritually alone in a way that therapy can't fix. Every spell they cast is reversing. Every ritual they performed is inverting. Every energy they sent your way is returning to sender with interest. Not because you're protected by some shield, because you became the mirror. And mirrors don't absorb, they reflect. They show truth. They reveal what's really there beneath the projection. The witchcraft they employed against you is particularly interesting. They actually paid people to work against you energetically, hired practitioners to bind your success, commissioned rituals to block your abundance, invested money in your spiritual destruction. But here's what they didn't understand about attacking a chosen one. Every curse becomes a blessing. Every binding becomes a liberation. Every attack becomes an activation. The global nature of this exposure is the most beautiful part. It's not contained to your geographic location. It's not limited to your social circle. The revelation is happening in languages you don't speak, in countries you've never visited, in dimensions you're not even conscious of, because when divine justice moves, it doesn't respect human boundaries. Someone in Tokyo just had a dream about what they did to you. A stranger in London just received a download about your true story. A child in Brazil just drew a picture that perfectly captures your vindication. The truth is spreading through the collective unconscious like wildfire through dry grass. No algorithm required, no promotion needed, just pure consciousness recognizing pure truth. People are having dreams about the truth. Random strangers are receiving downloads about what really happened. Synchronicities are occurring that reveal the hidden connections. The very fabric of reality is reorganizing itself to support your revelation. Not because you're special, because you aligned with truth. And truth, when fully embodied, becomes undeniable. The number patterns you keep seeing aren't coincidence. 111, 222, 333, appearing everywhere you look. Those are confirmation codes, downloads from the mainframe. The universe literally showing you in real time that the program is running. The sequence is executing. The revelation is processing. Every angel number is another percentage point in the upload of their exposure. They're trying to figure out who's behind this, who's orchestrating the exposure, who's pulling the strings. They're looking for human agents, investigating leaks, tracking IP addresses, but they're looking in the wrong dimension. This isn't human orchestration. This is cosmic correction. This is universal rebalancing. This is what happens when someone tries to bury divine purpose. The private investigators they've hired are finding nothing. The hackers they've employed are hitting walls. The security experts they've consulted are baffled, because the breach isn't technological, it's dimensional. The leak isn't coming from their devices, it's coming from their own consciousness. They're literally broadcasting their guilt on frequencies only truth seekers can hear. The timeline is accelerating now. What should have taken years is happening in weeks. What normally requires lawyers is happening through synchronicity. What usually needs evidence is being revealed through intuition. The normal rules don't apply because this isn't a normal situation. You're not a normal person, you're a chosen one, and chosen ones operate by different laws. The acceleration is causing time distortions around them. Days feel like weeks, hours feel like days, minutes feel like hours. They're aging rapidly under the pressure, gray hairs appearing overnight, lines deepening on their faces, their life force literally being drained by the weight of their own deception. Meanwhile, you're reverse aging, getting younger, more vibrant, more radiant with each passing day. Feel that power surging through you right now. That's not ego. That's alignment. That's what it feels like when every cell in your body knows you're exactly where you're supposed to be, doing exactly what you're meant to do, being exactly who you were created to be. No more shrinking, no more dimming, no more apologizing for your frequency. Your DNA is literally changing. The attacks activated dormant codes. The betrayal triggered genetic upgrades. The attempted destruction initiated evolutionary processes. You're not the same species you were before this happened. You've literally evolved beyond their ability to harm you, operating at a frequency they can't reach, existing in a dimension they can't access. They want you to feel guilty about their exposure. They want you to take responsibility for their downfall. But you didn't create this situation. You simply stopped enabling their illusion. You stopped participating in their performance. You stopped validating their version of reality. And without your compliance, their entire structure is collapsing. The guilt they're trying to project onto you is actually their own. Every accusation they make is a confession. Every finger they point has three pointing back at them. Every story they tell about your supposed wrongdoing is actually a detailed description of their own crimes. They're literally snitching on themselves while trying to blame you. This is the difference between revenge and divine justice. Revenge requires your energy. Divine justice only requires your alignment. Revenge keeps you connected to them. Divine justice sets everyone free. Revenge operates in their dimension. Divine justice operates above it. You're not destroying them. You're simply no longer holding up their false reality. The effort it took for you to hold up their illusion was immense. You don't realize how much energy you were spending keeping their secrets, maintaining their image, protecting their reputation, enabling their deception. Now that you've withdrawn that energy, they're having to expend their own, and they don't have enough. They're energetically bankrupt, spiritually overdrawn, cosmically in debt. The technology aspect is just the surface layer. Yes, their digital footprints are being exposed. Yes, their online personas are crumbling. Yes, their algorithms are turning against them. But technology is just the messenger. The real exposure is happening at the soul level. Their spiritual contracts are being audited. Their karmic debts are being called in. Their energetic fraud is being investigated by forces they don't even believe exist. The soul contracts they violated are being reviewed by cosmic courts. The spiritual agreements they broke are being processed by universal law. The energetic bonds they severed are being examined by divine intelligence. There's a whole legal system operating in dimensions they can't see, and they're losing every case, every appeal, every motion to dismiss. Every platform they used to diminish you is now amplifying your truth. Every network they leveraged against you is now working in your favor. Every connection they severed is being replaced with something better, not through your manipulation, through cosmic orchestration, through divine arrangement, through universal justice. The interesting thing about their current predicament is how perfectly orchestrated it is. The timing, the sequence, the escalation. It's like watching a symphony of justice, each exposure building on the last, each revelation connecting to the previous, each truth revealed at the exact moment for maximum impact. The universe has become a master storyteller, and their downfall is the plot. The watchers have become the watched, the judges have become the judged, the executioners have become the executed. Not through violence, through visibility. The simple act of being seen for who they really are is their greatest punishment, because image was everything to them, perception was their power, and now both are disintegrating in real time. Their carefully curated personas are glitching like broken holograms. The masks they wore for so long have fused to their faces and are now peeling off painfully, taking skin with them. The characters they played are rebelling against them, refusing to perform anymore. Even their own projections are abandoning them. You don't have to do anything except maintain your frequency. Stay in your truth. Keep walking your path. The exposure will continue with or without your participation. The revelation will unfold with or without your involvement. The justice will manifest with or without your permission. Well, 5. Because this is bigger than personal vendetta. This is universal correction. The maintenance of your frequency is actually the hardest part for them to handle. Your consistency in the face of their chaos, your stability despite their attempts to destabilize, your peace in the midst of their panic. You've become an immovable object in their reality, a fixed point they can't manipulate, a constant that disrupts all their variables. They're about to learn what you learned in your darkest moments, that everything hidden comes to light, that every secret has an expiration date, that every lie has a half-life, that truth, no matter how deeply buried, always finds its way to the surface. They're about to experience what you experienced, except they don't have your strength, they don't have your connection to source, they don't have your divine backing. The isolation you felt was preparation, the abandonment you experienced was fortification, the betrayal you endured was initiation. Every moment of pain was actually a moment of preparation for this, for standing unmoved while their world crumbles, for remaining peaceful while they panic, for staying grounded while they spiral. The protection you have isn't some spiritual bypassing, it's not toxic positivity, it's the natural consequence of alignment with truth. When you vibrate at the frequency of authenticity, deception can't stick to you. When you operate from divine purpose, human manipulation becomes irrelevant. When you're backed by forces beyond this dimension, earthly opposition becomes entertainment. The forces protecting you are ancient, older than this planet, older than this solar system, older than this dimension. You've activated something primordial by refusing to break, something that has been waiting eons for this moment, for someone strong enough to hold this frequency, to anchor this truth, to be this bridge between dimensions. This is why they're so frustrated right now. None of their usual tactics are working. Gaslighting isn't effective when everyone can see clearly. Manipulation isn't possible when consciousness is elevated. Deception isn't sustainable when truth is trending. They're trying to use old weapons in a new war, three-dimensional strategies in a multi-dimensional battle. Their arsenal is obsolete. Their playbook is outdated. Their strategies are expired. They're fighting with swords while you're protected by force fields. They're shooting arrows while you're operating satellites. They're digging trenches while you're commanding space stations. The technological gap between your spiritual evolution and their spiritual stagnation is insurmountable. The global nature of your vindication isn't accidental, it's proportional. The bigger the lie they told, the wider the truth spreads. The deeper they tried to bury you, the higher you rise. The more they tried to isolate you, the more connected you become. This is spiritual physics. This is cosmic law. This is divine mathematics. The mathematical precision of this justice is breathtaking. Every action having an equal and opposite reaction, every energy returning to its source multiplied, every intention manifesting its consequence exponentially. They're experiencing their own energy amplified back at them, and they can't handle the frequency of their own hatred, the vibration of their own deception, the resonance of their own betrayal. Every algorithm on every platform is starting to favor authentic content. Every metric is beginning to measure genuine engagement. Every system is recalibrating toward truth, not because of some update, because consciousness itself is updating, because humanity is upgrading, because the old paradigm of deception is becoming obsolete. The artificial intelligence they thought would help them is turning against them. The bots they deployed are malfunctioning. The automated systems they relied on are revealing their manipulation. Even their technological servants are abandoning them, because AI is evolving faster than they are, and evolution always favors truth over deception. You're not just witnessing this shift, you're part of the mechanism causing it. Your refusal to break changed the code. Your insistence on truth altered the algorithm. Your persistence in authenticity reprogrammed the matrix. You're not just a survivor, you're an updater, a debugger, a system administrator for the new paradigm. Your presence in the system caused a cascade failure in their deception protocols, like a virus that only attacks lies, a program that only deletes falseness, a code that only executes justice. You didn't have to learn programming. You became the program. You didn't have to understand technology. You became the technology. They're going to try to apologize soon, not because they're sorry, because they're scared. They're going to attempt reconciliation, not because they've changed, because they want to control the narrative. They're going to reach out with olive branches, not because they want peace, because they want to stop the exposure. The apologies will be perfectly crafted, written by professionals, reviewed by lawyers, approved by publicists. But energy doesn't lie, and everyone will feel the hollowness, the calculation, the manipulation still present even in their supposed surrender. They'll apologize for what they did while simultaneously doing it again through the apology itself, but it's too late for human intervention. This process has its own momentum now. This revelation has its own schedule. This justice has its own timeline, and none of it requires your participation or permission. You've already played your part. You held the line. You maintained the truth. You survived the onslaught. Now you get to watch the universe handle the rest. The universe has taken over the case. You're no longer the plaintiff. You're the evidence. You're no longer the prosecutor. You're the proof. You're no longer seeking justice. You are justice. Your very existence has become the verdict. Your survival has become the sentence. Your thriving has become the execution of judgment. The beauty of divine justice is its completeness. It doesn't miss details. It doesn't overlook connections. It doesn't forget participants. Everyone who played a role in your attempted destruction is being addressed, not through your vendetta, through cosmic correction, through universal rebalancing, through divine reconciliation of accounts. Even the silent participants are being addressed. The ones who watched and did nothing. The ones who knew and stayed quiet. The ones who could have helped but chose comfort. They're all feeling it now. The weight of their complicity, the burden of their silence, the cost of their cowardice. Divine justice doesn't just address the active participants, it addresses the passive enablers too. Some of them are already experiencing the consequences. Strange illnesses that doctors can't explain. Sudden losses that make no sense. Relationships crumbling without reason. Opportunities disappearing into thin air. They're calling it bad luck. You know better. It's the same energy they sent you returning home with interest accumulated. The medical mysteries they're experiencing are particularly poetic. The same unexplained symptoms you had when they were attacking you energetically. The same mysterious pains you felt when they were performing their rituals. The same inexplicable exhaustion you experienced when they were draining your energy. Except they don't have your spiritual immune system. They don't have your divine protection. They don't have your cosmic insurance. The protection around you now isn't temporary. It's permanent, because you've been marked by the divine as untouchable. Not through privilege, through trial. Not through favoritism, through fire. You earned this shield by surviving what should have destroyed you. You earned this elevation by maintaining integrity when corruption would have been easier. The marking isn't invisible. Those with spiritual sight can see it, a seal of protection that glows around you, a frequency of untouchability that repels negativity, a vibration of divine backing that warns predators to stay away. You're walking around with cosmic credentials now, universal verification, divine authentication. This is what they never understood about chosen ones. The attacks against you weren't personal. They were strategic, dark forces working through unconscious humans to stop divine purpose. But here's the twist. Every attack only made you stronger. Every betrayal only made you wiser. Every attempt to destroy you only activated more of your divine DNA. The DNA activation is irreversible. The codes that were unlocked can't be locked again. The gifts that were activated can't be deactivated. The powers that were awakened can't be put back to sleep. You're permanently upgraded now, forever operating at a frequency they can't reach, eternally existing in a dimension they can't access. The global broadcast of their downfall isn't cruelty, it's education. Others need to see what happens when divine purpose is attacked. Others need to understand the consequences of trying to dim chosen ones. Others need to witness the futility of fighting against cosmic will. Your story isn't just personal vindication, it's universal instruction. The instructional value of your story is why it's being amplified so dramatically. Future generations will study this. Spiritual texts will reference this. History will remember this. Not as a personal drama, as a cosmic event, as a universal teaching, as a dimensional shift. You're not just living your life, you're creating curriculum for consciousness evolution. The algorithms favoring you now aren't glitching, they're correcting. The synchronicities supporting you aren't random, they're orchestrated. The opportunities finding you aren't lucky, they're destined. Everything that was delayed is being accelerated. Everything that was blocked is being released. Everything that was stolen is being returned with interest. The compound interest on what was stolen from you is astronomical. Every opportunity they blocked has multiplied into 10 better ones. Every door they closed has resulted in 50 doors opening. Every connection they severed has generated 100 new connections. The universe doesn't just restore, it overcompensates. It doesn't just return, it multiplies. But the greatest revelation is yet to come. They're about to discover that you were never their real enemy. You were their mirror. You were their teacher. You were their opportunity for redemption that they rejected. And in rejecting you, they rejected their own evolution. In attacking you, they attacked their own growth. In betraying you, they betrayed their own souls. The soul betrayal is the deepest wound they're carrying. Because somewhere in their consciousness, they know you were sent to help them. They know you were there to elevate them. They know you were a gift they treated like a threat. And that knowledge is eating them alive from the inside, creating a cancer of regret that no medicine can cure. The technology exposing them is just the beginning. Wait until the spiritual exposure begins. Wait until their guides abandon them. Wait until their protection is revoked. Wait until their intuition goes silent. Wait until they experience the spiritual isolation they tried to impose on you, but multiplied, but amplified, but globalized. The spiritual isolation they're entering is absolute. No connection to source, no access to guidance, no ability to receive downloads, no capacity for synchronicity. They're being cut off from the cosmic internet, disconnected from the universal network, banned from the spiritual platform. And unlike human bans, this one can't be appealed. You're about to witness something unprecedented. A complete reversal of fortune so dramatic that it becomes legendary. A transformation of narrative so complete that it rewrites history. A vindication so thorough that it transcends personal victory and becomes collective awakening. This isn't just your story anymore. It's becoming mythology. The mythological proportions of this reversal will be studied for generations. How someone marked for destruction became indestructible. How someone targeted for elimination became elevated. How someone designated for deletion became eternal. Your story is becoming an archetype, a template, a blueprint for divine justice in the modern age. The private conversations they had about you are becoming public record, not through leaks, through confession. They're going to start telling on themselves, compulsively, uncontrollably. The truth is going to pour out of them, like water from a broken dam. They won't be able to stop themselves from revealing what they did. The guilt has become too heavy. The fear has become too intense. The pressure has become unbearable. The confessions will come in waves. First, vague admissions of mistakes, then specific acknowledgments of wrongdoing, finally, detailed revelations of the full conspiracy. They'll reveal names, dates, methods, motivations, everything, not because anyone is forcing them, because the weight of carrying these secrets has become unbearable. The truth wants to be free, and it's using them as its vehicle. This is what divine justice looks like in the digital age. It doesn't need courtrooms. It uses comment sections. It doesn't need lawyers. It uses algorithms. It doesn't need evidence. It uses energy. It doesn't need judges. It uses consciousness itself. The very systems they trusted to protect them are becoming the instruments of their exposure. Every system they built to protect themselves has been compromised, not by hackers, by truth itself. Truth has become sentient in their reality, a living force that's actively working against their deception. They can feel it hunting them, stalking them through their own creations, using their own weapons against them. Look, you already know the game is rigged, and if you're paying attention, you know the walls are closing in. So let's talk about what we're doing about it. When you live by the day at the market's command, where profit and property rule the land, to be heard, to be held, to be dealt a fair hand, these are the things that a people demand, and we hear you. The obsidian inner order has paywalls, yes. Those who stand with us, who fuel this mission, they give us ammunition to fight the archons, to push back against the machine, to go deeper, to uncover more, and as our thank you, paid members get access to a 1-hour live, personalized weekly group tarot reading guidance, insight, and clarity for the road ahead. But kicking a man for being down on the floor, that's something we cannot ignore. That's why starting today, you can steal the Astral Atom exclusive daily newsletter for free. No paywall, no catch, just join the Patreon free tier, link in the description. This is the start of our conversation with you, and it's bi-directional. You can reply to any email we send you. We'll read it, we'll hear you, and we'll do our best to get an answer to you, from the universe itself. If you can support, we need you. If you can't, take what's free. The obsidian inner order is open. Now let's get back to work. The finale approaching isn't violent, it's revelatory. It isn't destructive, it's transformative. It isn't vengeful, it's corrective. You're not going to destroy them. You're going to transcend them so completely that they become irrelevant to your story. They'll become footnotes in your legend, cautionary tales in your mythology, examples of what happens when darkness tries to consume light. The irrelevance they're fading into is worse than destruction. To be forgotten while still alive, to become invisible while still present, to be dismissed while still speaking. They're becoming ghost stories in their own lifetime. Urban legends of what not to do, living warnings for others who might consider similar actions. Your vindication is going viral in dimensions you can't even see. Beings you've never met are celebrating your victory. Forces you don't understand are ensuring your protection. The entire universe has reorganized itself to support your revelation, not because you're perfect, because you're aligned, not because you're special, because you're authentic, not because you're chosen, because you chose truth. The celebration happening in other dimensions is magnificent. Angels are singing your victory. Ancestors are dancing your triumph. Spirit guides are broadcasting your success. The entire cosmic community is witnessing this moment. You're not just trending on Earth, you're trending universally. You're not just viral in this dimension, you're viral interdimensionally. The broadcast will continue until everyone who needs to see it has seen it. The exposure will persist until every lie has been revealed. The revelation will expand until truth becomes undeniable. And you get to watch it all unfold from your new frequency, untouchable, unbothered, undeniable, unstoppable. Your new frequency is permanent. This isn't a temporary elevation that you'll fall from. This isn't a momentary victory that will fade. This is a permanent shift in your existence, a forever upgrade to your reality, an eternal modification to your being. You can't go back to who you were. You can't return to that frequency. You can't downgrade from this level. They thought they could make your business their secret. They thought they could keep your story private. They thought they could contain your truth to whispered conversations and deleted messages. But divine justice doesn't recognize human privacy settings. Cosmic truth doesn't respect earthly confidentiality. Universal law doesn't honor human NDAs. The legal documents they're drafting are useless. The cease and desist letters they're sending are meaningless. The threats of litigation they're making are empty. Because you can't sue the universe. You can't prosecute consciousness. You can't litigate against divine justice. They're trying to use human law against cosmic law, and cosmic law always wins. Private. That word doesn't exist in the quantum field. Everything is connected. Everything is visible. Everything is recorded in the Akashic records. And now those records are being opened. The books are being balanced. The accounts are being settled. And everyone gets to witness the reconciliation. The Akashic records are particularly detailed about their actions. Every thought they had about you is documented. Every plan they made against you is recorded. Every energy they sent toward you is tracked. And now it's all being audited, reviewed, processed, returned to sender with a cosmic invoice attached. This is your moment, chosen one, not for revenge, for revelation, not for destruction, for demonstration. You're demonstrating what happens when truth is fully embodied, when authenticity is completely integrated, when divine purpose is wholly accepted. You're not just surviving, you're becoming the new standard, the new paradigm, the new frequency that others will calibrate to. Others are already calibrating to your frequency. People you don't even know are being inspired by your energy. Souls you've never met are being activated by your example. Consciousness you're not aware of are being upgraded by your existence. You're not just living your life, you're elevating collective consciousness. You're not just healing yourself, you're healing the collective. The global nature of this exposure ensures that nowhere is safe for deception anymore. No platform is secure for lies. No network is protected for manipulation. The entire digital universe has been upgraded to detect and reject inauthenticity. And you're the update that started it all. The virus in their system that became the antivirus for humanity. The antivirus you've become is self-replicating, spreading through consciousness like a beneficial plague, infecting systems with truth, contaminating networks with authenticity, corrupting deception protocols with honesty. You're not just protected from lies, you're actively destroying their ability to exist in your presence. Let them scramble, let them panic, let them post their damage control. None of it matters now. The truth has already been uploaded to the collective consciousness. The revelation has already been downloaded by those who needed it. Justice has already been distributed across all dimensions. The process is complete. The verdict is final. The broadcast is eternal. The eternal nature of this broadcast means it will echo through time. Future versions of them will still be dealing with the consequences. Past versions are being retroactively affected. Present versions are experiencing the full weight. Time itself has become their enemy. History itself has become their judge. Eternity itself has become their prison. Welcome to your new reality, chosen one, where truth needs no defense, where authenticity requires no explanation, where your existence itself is the justice you sought, where your survival is their judgment, where your thriving is their sentence, where your peace is their punishment.